This is part 2 of 7.03, Uses of Nuclear Decay, and we're talking not about a use, but about something you should be aware of, especially since you live in Minnesota. And where does radon come from? So just write down the question for now. Where does radon come from? And it comes from the uranium that is found in all rocks. Okay, so just write that part down. Where does radon come from? It comes from the uranium that is found in all rocks. And I also want you to write this down. Radon can be found in soil, rock, and water. So let's read it. To understand the geology of radon, where it forms, how it moves, we have to start with its ultimate source, uranium. All rocks contain some uranium, although most contains just a small amount, about 1 or 3 parts per million. So we talked about that in a different lesson. If you have 1,000,000 atoms, one of them would be uranium, or 2 or 3, but that's about it. Sometimes the rocks have a higher than average uranium content. These include light-colored volcanic rocks, granites, dark shales, sedimentary rocks that contain phosphate, and metamorphic rocks derived from these rocks. These rocks in their soil may contain as many as 100 parts per million of uranium. So again, you have 1,000,000 atoms, and now 100 of them are uranium instead of 1, 2, or 3. And again, radon can be found in soil, rock, and water. So basically, it's naturally everywhere in the rocks. Some places have higher concentration of it, which again is why we have this map here. And it doesn't all depend on soil concentration. It also depends on your house. And it also depends on if the soil is wet or dry. So radon can get into your house through cracks in the foundation, construction joints, cracks in walls, gaps in suspended floors, gaps around pipes, cavities inside walls, and water supplies. So a lot of ways to get in. Now, radon can be reduced. So it's not like if you find radon in your house, you have to move. No, there's stuff that can be done. There's active subslab suction. There is passive subslab suction. So basically where you're sucking out the radon. Drain tiles or perforated pipes. And this helps if there's a water issue with radon. And block wall suction. Depressurizing the block wall, removing radon that way. So it boils down to, yes, you should test your house for radon. The quickest way, it takes about 2 to 3 days, provides radon levels from 1 day, or a long-term test, more than 90 days, provides year-round radon levels. And if you do have a radon issue, many of them can be fixed for, let's play Price is Right. How much do you think it can be fixed for? Approximately $500. Yes, I got this amount online, and it is not an official quote. And yes, it can cost much more than that, and some things can cost less. But the reason I threw it in here, even though, like I said, I'm totally not standing by that number, but the reason I threw it in there is so that it's not something where you have to say, oh my gosh, we have to sell our house tomorrow. It's something that can be fixed, and it is scary because the EPA said like 20,000 lung cancer deaths a year from radon. So it is something that I want you to be aware of, especially since we live in Minnesota. All right, especially for this lesson, I want to make sure that you do the pre-quiz because I did go through a lot of information and I want you to know exactly what I could potentially put on the quiz. So make sure you do your pre-quiz. If you have questions, as always, let me know. Bye.